The countdown to E.N.D is nigh, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are here with chapter 502 of Fairy Tail, and my god, I don't think a lot of people actually saw this is where the situation is going to be going with now, with after with the situation we had with Brandish, with Lucy and Natsu, everybody captured and in like fucked up conditions. My god, that finale of 502, we've got some amazing stuff to talk about, and let's just get right into it already. So immediately start off chapter 502 and all that, we still get to see, like, with immediately we get to see Iodine, it's still absorbing Mavis, and it was just like, like, I specialize in detaching magic and all, yeah, this something is so special and all that, beyond my, like my whole considerable, like, power and all that. And when he was, like, talking about, like Xerath came in immediately and saying, like, Irene, I need to talk to you and all that, like, and she's like, what the fuck, what do you want with me and all that, I'm busy right now and all that, I like to focus, and it's just like, stay your hand and all that, I need 3 minutes just to talk to her, I want one final conversation with me. It's just the two of us, and I love that Irene was just putting her foot down. It's like, no, like, stop you, Marcy, you're being a fucking idiot. Like, no, like, I absolutely refuse this time. And then literally, like, Xerath comes out saying that's an apparition, that's not me, that's an imposter, and she's like, what the hell? And Mavis uses this time to escape. And now that was the thing where it's like, since, like, we've seen N.D defeated, does that mean, like, actually, like, Mavis was going to be free from the chains as well? I was wondering about that, and it was like, that actually did give the time for, like, Mavis to actually be free of the chains, to actually have some sort of strategy and make an illusion and try to, like, switch her out immediately so like, Irene wouldn't notice, like, when she took her hand away, and it was like, that was kind of, like, a nice little thing to do and all that. Like, we kind of saw that a little bit coming, though, I would say that. It's like, I didn't think Mavis was going to be there, stuck the entire time. And it was like, oh, it's the magic which, Mavis particularly, like, excels in and all that, but, like, you had an opportunity to do it, and it's just like, you gotta pursue her immediately, don't wound her, and just, like, so now we've got, Irene, like, immediately chasing after Mavis. She's just like, oh, like, remember, don't wound her, but make sure you get her to, like, any circumstances and all that, and she's like, with pleasure, like that, as Mavis is literally escaping, she's like, like, in my current position, I've got to get out of, like, the actual army that's, like, surrounding, like, Fairy Tail right now, and the guild right there. I've got to get out of that area all the way to my ally, so that's going to be a problem. And like Mest immediately finding it is like, okay, like, with Mest, I don't know, like with Mest like there, it's like, fuck you, Mest. Like, that's the last person I kind of want to see at the moment, because it's mainly thanks to you that, like, we've seen it, like, a bunch of, like, the, like, fucking people from, like, the Spriggans and all that, but, like, attack us and all that, so it's like, you piece of shit. And then, honestly, there was a bit of a chunk where it was like, you saw Jet and Droy being attacked, and I was like, they die? I don't particularly care. It's like, there are characters in Fairy Tail where it's just like, okay, you can die, you can die, you can die, you can die, and I would never care. And it's like, Jet and Droy were, like, the ones where it's like, I would never give a rat's ass if they happen, but no, Gargio's like, oh, get up and all that, yeah, we're buddies and all that. It's just like, and even with, like, Droy, it's just like, you're in the worst shape than us and all that, just leave us and all that, the scrubs like us, and it's just like, yeah, please leave them alone, I don't want to see them alive. And then Panther Lily comes in with the assist, like, saying, look, here, and honestly, a great moment I really enjoyed it was definitely when, like, Gargiel and Lely reunited, and he was just like, I'm so happy to see it, and, like, literally gets the boot to the face, and then she's just, like, there on his chest, like that, saying, like, you said if you're gonna, like, take me back to the guild, right, so you better keep your word. And it was adorable. It was, like, honestly, it was the cutest thing right there, when she was crying and like that, just happy to see him, and it was just like, oh, that was really nice. It's like, I would have liked it if, like, say the reunion was now, say, like, this is when, like, if it was the end of this chapter that Gargiel came back or something, like, I would have liked it if it was at this point and all that. It's like, oh, like, well, like, mate, like, with Zera and all that, she actually, like, brought back, like, immediately saying, like, oh, like, she's now disappearing, and I was like, oh, before I go, here's one last person. I would have think that would have been cool. It's like, oh, yeah, and Gargiel came back, I think that would have made a more monumental moment, but she's now becoming, like, transparent and starting to disappear, mainly the fact of the reason she is disappearing, for that reason, is because of what is everything with happening, that Mavis is regaining her memories, so that by that time she'll disappear, which is still the most bullshit kind of reason. Like, it's like, oh, I just kind of forgot, like, Mavis for a time, and that's how I kind of came back. It's a weird reason, but then again, it's like, we knew that she's going to disappear sometime soon, and if anything, it was going to be this chapter from what we putting into it, and that, Mavis and Zera had one last reunion, which was a sweet thing. I kind of like that moment out of everything, to say, the two of us have become one again, and say, I believe in you and all that, and it's just like, please have, like, sweet dreams, Zera, and I'll always be in your heart. Like, that was nice, but I was like, the whole still concept of like Zeta having like coming back, I was like, yeah, like coming into it, but it's just like no matter what and all that, it's like we gotta see like is that finale chapter, like, you know, of this chapter right now, and it's seeing Lucy all tied up, fucked up in some dungeon alongside Natsu, and it's just like, I'll hold you responsible. You're the one that killed her. Like Demalia is insane because technically you're the one that was trying to kill her and knife her up and all that. It's like you killed the Randy I know and love and all that. What sort of torture shall we get through to make you repent? And then we immediately see which was weird. Like we got into there, like we got to see like Polylucia like comes out and all that, like seeing Brandish, like she's got like deep ass wounds and all that, and it's like, oh, like she say like, you know, I'm the, you know, the apocryphy of like, you know, fairy tale and all that. It's like what's become of Natsu, and it's just like my earlier diagnostic was mistaken and all that. That tumor which you shrank, it was an anti-Efrano. It's something far worse. And I was like, okay, this is where we're getting into it, where it's like, where like the next chapter is called The Last Sight I Beheld, and that's something that's leading into us saying Natsu E.N.D. That's now the question is like, what would actually activate if it's like, you know, like it's a tumor or something. I think that's some sort of like, don't forget like Natsu's made out of like Ethrana, and it's like he's like with Athelius and all this magic shit and all that, and you know Zereth, like he probably put some demon stuff inside of him as well to resurrect that body. I wouldn't be surprised if that was like his body now starting to like trigger and activate after so long, like since like, you know, if you remember, Igneel was there alongside with the other dragons and all that to make sure that they didn't become dragons or they didn't like have anything happen to them and all that. And I feel like now Igneel isn't there anymore, and like the last bit of his magic is pretty much disappearing. I think this is the point where Natsu's now about to transform. I think it's like now is the time to have that, and this is how he's going to break out of this whole situation where he's just literally going to like wreck this entire area and just snap. And whether that's going to be happening like next week and all that, or no, like a week after, I don't know what's going to be out. But I am goddamn excited because I actually didn't get a chance to actually read through like the spoilers this week, so I was really excited about that. I was ill like for yesterday, so I do apologize on that note, but that actually kind of made me a little bit excited. So it's like, alright, I get a full chapter, I don't actually know what's going to be happening, so I was actually a little bit excited about that. So I was like seeing that and I was like, oh god, the chat to seeing this bit at the end, and it's like that got me really goddamn excited and all that. And like Lucy's going to be like the only witness, and like with obviously Grey now being like, you know, just snapping right now. If you see it's like Natsu's heading into a monster, he's like, well, that confirms that you are E.N.D, and that's like how it's gonna settle down that fight all together. And it's like, I'm very much looking forward to that. And the question is like, we've got a couple of like, you know, plot threads now being like, you know, being like shown up, and also as well some wrapping up. Like the Zero ones now just got wrapped up alongside with like, you know, Gargiel and Letty being reunited, which was a beautiful thing. I absolutely loved that. That was probably one of, well, next to the E.N.D part, like we're getting and all that, that was probably one of my favorite parts of the chapter, them kind of reuniting. We've also as well got like an update on Mavis as well, like Mavis is now escaping, although with Mest, or that could be a trick, we don't know. That like from what we saw like later in the chapter, she is there like relaxing, but I hope like Eileen just comes out there and just murders Mest. That would be great, but you know, I doubt it because that bitch can teleport. So I was like, ah, fuck that. But honestly, I really did enjoy this chapter, and honestly, with the next chapter being called The Last Sight I Beheld and all that, like I cannot wait for like what's going to be transpiring in the next chapter. I really did enjoy this one, and just knowing that there's more to that actual tumor and all that in anti-Efrano or something, that's something way worse and all that. And I love the fact that's now coming up to it, and it's like what Natsu and all that. Yeah, you like if you see like Lucy fucking endangered or anything like that, that's I feel like it's going to trigger something inside of you, and that monster's going to awaken. So I cannot wait for that. That's all from me though. So ladies and gentlemen, so thank you much for watching, guys. Let me know what you thought about this fairy tale chapter down below, but I'll see you beautiful bastards though next time.